If you have ever burned money on cloud like AWS, Google Cloud, you would have probably tried to learn about some providers like Hetzner, right? And Hetzner is one of the providers which is extremely cheap. It provides you two services, cloud and dedicated, and it is extremely popular also among indie hackers and developers and businesses also who want to optimize their cost. Hetzner, however, is giving you a Black Friday gift by increasing the prices and decreasing the bandwidth included in that price. So what does that mean? So you see all of these products over here, think of them as instances or servers which are provided by Hetzner. Their prices have been increased right now. So if you go ahead and scroll down a bit, I've already selected US as my country over here. So you see CCX 13 over here. This instance used to cost 11.99 euros. Now it will cost 12.99 euros, and the bandwidth included is going down from 20 terabytes to 1 terabyte. Over here you can see that right now it's not updated, this page is not updated, but this bandwidth is going down from 20 TB to 1 TB, and this price would also increase. Now, one of the biggest attractive point of these companies, 2 points rather, I would say, is that first of all, their compute is very cheap, right? So this is like your, for $12 a month, you're getting 2 vCPU, 8 GB RAM server with a 80 GB SSD. So that's great. But what's even better is the bandwidth which you used to get, right? 20 terabytes of bandwidth. That means you can probably, run at least your mini server with thousands of visitors, even tens of thousands of visitors, just for $12 a month, right? As long as you're writing good code, you are making use of the CPUs performantly, you're not burning a lot of CPU on every request or something. This is a perfectly powerful server to handle a lot of requests. Well, not anymore, because this traffic has been reduced now. And if you see smaller instances also, like 3.85 euro instance is now $4.50, and the traffic drop has been significant, right? And if your business revolves around assuming that you are getting 20 terabytes of traffic included per instance, right? So this is also per instance. It's not like you're just losing out 19 TBs. No, if you have 5 of these, for example, or if you have 10 of these, you are effectively multiplying that, right? So 19 into 10 instances, let's say, you'll just lost 190 terabytes of free traffic, which used to be yours, right? And people are obviously not happy over Twitter and over Hacker News. Also, if you go ahead and read the comments, you will start to see, people calling out other companies that because they were excessively using Hetzner for, the free tier which they provided, maybe they are making this change. Because even in the Hetzner statement, you can see over here, with the new tariff structure, we want to make conditions for our customers around the world as fair as possible. To do that, we will calculate pricing based on the local conditions in Europe, Singapore, and USA. Until this change, customers who have used fewer resources have covered the cost in a way for other customers who have used much more resources. So effectively, what Hetzner is saying is that they are not making money if you are completely using this 20 terabytes of traffic every month, right? That's effectively what I'm understanding over here with this sentence, is that they were losing money if somebody's maxing out on the usage, and the only way they were making money was that, some of the people are just, using 2 terabytes maybe, or 3 terabytes, and then they were making money. Now they want to make things more balanced, and that's why they are increasing prices. I mean, this sounds fair. I don't even know like how servers in general, on the ground level, on the root level, they operate, and what is the costing structure like. You have to buy bandwidth from ISPs and all of that. That looks like a huge headache, but it does feel like a good deal. It used to feel like a good deal that for a 3.85 euro server, you are able to get 20 terabytes of bandwidth, which is like a lot of bandwidth. However, this is not all bad and sad, because if you just have a couple of servers, for example, let's say if you had this server, right? Let's see if this is dropped. Yeah. So this server, for example, is dropped from 40 terabytes to 4 terabytes, right? So CCX 43, where you are paying close to $96 a month. Now you are paying $100 a month. So if you calculate a bit, you will see that you are losing $4, sure. And you are losing $36, because on Hetzner, 1 terabyte is $1 in pricing, right? So you don't like it's still far better than if you look at providers like Vercel, where I don't know, it runs into $400 or something. I don't even remember. We'll have to check. So Vercel's pricing is, oh, I remember, like they had reduced this. So Vercel's pricing is $150 per GB from, I think, down from 400, which they used to have for data transfer, fast data transfer. And for fast origin transfer, it's $60 per GB, per TB, not 150 per GB, per TB. And this is $60 per TB. This combined is much less than what Hetzner offers you. That's $1 per TB, right? So you're effectively Losing out if you have a server like this, CCX43, $4 is the increase in price, and then $36 more is the increase in the bandwidth which you are effectively, like if you're consuming it to 100%. So that's $40 in increase, right? I mean, which is okay if you're already spending like $100 on an instance. 140 doesn't sound so bad, but if you have 10 of these instances, then obviously like it would automatically like scale up. Did they finally realize how AWS, Azure and Google Cloud actually generate their profit margin? So this is like one of the funny things, right? I showed you example of Vercel right now. Vercel is the extreme case. I think Netlify is even worse than Vercel. If you look at Netlify pricing, they include 1 terabyte of bandwidth, and then it's $55 per 100 GB. So that's $550 per terabyte, right? Which is the Netlify's pricing for Pro plan. I mean, I don't know many industries where there are two providers sort of offering the same thing. I mean, I won't say like Netlify and Hetzner are comparable. They obviously have like much more feature sets and CI and automations and all of that. But at the end of the day, you are indeed getting a compute layer, right? A compute platform and a storage platform and a data transfer platform. Netlify charges you $550 per terabyte. Hetzner charges you $1 per terabyte. It's a 550 times difference, which sounds crazy to me, like that these sort of contrasting solutions exist in our world. So somebody commented that it sounds like I can just move my bandwidth hungry servers to Europe and eat the latency penalty. Is that a correct read? So it sounds like that Hetzner is only increasing pricing in US regions, right? So you can see we will begin charging new prices for newly created cloud servers and introduce new amounts for included traffic for cloud servers and load balancers at the US locations in Ashburn and Hillsborough. For any existing cloud servers and load balancers you will have at these locations, the new pricing and new amounts will be included. So this is interesting because you see that these pricing are not applicable for servers elsewhere. Only in US you will get that. If you try to boot up a server in, let me select all of this as a country first of all. And if I scroll down inside location or inside dedicated CPU, if I select Germany, for example, and I don't need an IPv4. So I'm assuming that over here, these traffic including things still remain. So probably Vercel is getting a lot of, abuse sort of thing from US locations. That is why they are probably increasing the price. So this comment is right that you can potentially boot the server in Europe and, eat the latency, get the latency penalty, and you will still have a lot of traffic, which sounds good. I mean, if you can put something like Cloudflare on top of it, I'll be suspicious about that because Cloudflare has a lot of restrictive policies. Like you can't cache anything and everything. You can't cache videos and all until and unless the backend is their own service like R2. But yeah, I mean, sure. So yeah, I mean, obviously they are in their own rights to increase their pricing and handle how they want, but this probably would not help them. I mean, I don't know, like this could be also something where, people just start criticizing this a lot and this gets a lot of attention. For example, I'm creating this video. Some of you might discover Hetzner for the first time and you just look at this and figure out that why the hell I'm even paying like thousands of dollars in bandwidth to AWS, and you decide to make the switch to Hetzner, even though they have increased pricing. So maybe there's some sort of reverse psychology over here. But in general, I feel like this is a move which would obviously push people back from picking up US servers, but people who would be able to work with Europe servers or any other Germany servers, that they would still be able to do a good job because the pricing is, pretty much similar for them. The pricing and the bandwidth both are just increased for US, not for any other servers. And more importantly, this is not for dedicated servers, which is where the real value unlock is for using something like Hetzner. Because when you look at a dedicated server, that is where the real price versus compute thing happens, right? I'm not exactly sure if any sort of bandwidth is included in dedicated servers or not. Yeah. So dedicated root servers have a dedicated 1 gigabit uplink by default, and there is no limit on the traffic, right? So this is the real deal, right? If you go ahead and look at the dedicated servers, you get you obviously have a theoretical limit because you don't have unlimited, internet speed, but the traffic, if you calculate this, that would be your maximum traffic and it will be a lot of terabytes, right? And you can get a 10 gigabit uplink also, but there you have like a 20 terabyte of traffic limitation. But yeah, pretty cool. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below if you have used Hetzner before. I do have an account with Hetzner, but we don't use it right now. We might use it at some point when we, just are fed up with everything Google Cloud and AWS and EC2s and all of that. But that day is probably a few months away. We don't use all of that. We don't use Hetzner yet at Fermyon. That's all for this one. Let me know in the comments below what you think. I will see you in the next video very soon.